Welcome to 502 Sessions. I'm Brian Kirby. My guest today is the Wayne Pearcy Gratzmiller Jazz Quintet. The PGJQ project is aimed at presenting traditional hard-bop jazz from the perspective of a new generation of musicians. The band performs compositions written by its members which combine elements of modern music with the energy and soulfulness of the classic jazz quintet. The resulting performance is one that both the lifelong jazz buff and the casual listener can enjoy. The Wayne Pearcy Gratzmiller Jazz Quintet is Wayne Pearcy on trumpet, Gratzmiller on saxes, Matt Savage on keyboard, Greg Toro on bass, and Fabio Rojas on drums. The PGJQ. 502 Sessions. I'm here with the Wayne Pearcy, Aaron Gratzmiller Jazz Quintet, specifically Wayne Pearcy on trumpet and Aaron Gratzmiller on saxes of the Wayne Pearcy, Aaron Gratzmiller Quintet. So how did you get the name for the band? I'm just kidding. So the PGJQ, Pearcy Gratzmiller Jazz Quintet.
That's right.
So hard bop with elements of modern music, but the traditional energy and soul of a jazz quintet, which I love that Cannonball Adderley jazz quintet trumpet sax thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But you're playing multiple saxes here, so let's get into a little bit of this. So what do you mean elements of modern music? And either one of you can speak or interrupt each other. So I don't know who I'm speaking to. Who wants to talk?
So
Wayne will talk.
Yeah, that's cool. So I mean, you know, a lot of our compositions kind of have those, you know, foundational elements. If you go back and listen to, you know, obviously you just mentioned Cannonball, and you know, there's the Art Blakey group, which I really love. Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. I'm like a total Jazz Messengers fan. So we kind of take, you know, some roots from that, you know, time period, and then, you know, we have some compositions that, you know, a couple of them, you know, sort of incorporate some more of the more progressive type stuff, more of straight eighth feel, you know, experimenting with a couple of different grooves, like kind of the ECM kind of groove, and then some bossa nova thrown in there, and different things like that. So we like to experiment with a few different things, but I personally, you know, feel that tradition is really important, and I'm really glad that this group has been able to respect the tradition, and that's what we want. We want to create a kind of our own sound, but we want to respect those who have gone before us and really really stand on their shoulders to create our music. Name
the first tune for me.
The first tune that we played today was one of my compositions, and it's called Beantown Bop.
Beantown Bop, and the second tune was?
Called Poor Man's Doctor by Aaron Gratzmiller.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So Beantown Bop, how do you write a bop tune like that? You get a melody in your head, or you have a specific set of chord changes you like to work with?
Yeah, so usually it's kind of funny, because most of the time, I don't think a lot of people work like this, but I hear big blocks of music at a time, and when I hear those big blocks, sometimes it's things from start to finish. Sometimes it's not the whole piece, but it's big parts of it, and it's usually always the full band playing. So I can hear like the trumpet, the sax, the piano, the drums, everything, the bass. So I just hear like everything all at once. It's kind of weird. I kind of hear music like that too. It makes it hard for me to write it down, though. Yeah, it does make it hard. And so sometimes when you try to get things on paper, sometimes things end up getting they get a little bit fuzzy, your thoughts get a little bit fuzzy, and so sometimes you end up straying slightly away from what you originally intended to write.
So let me ask if this makes sense to you. So I will hear a block of a song, and I'll know what direction I want to take it.
Yeah.
And I'll know I want it to be a swing tune or a ballad or something.
Right.
But then I have to focus in on the melody to get that down.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
then I fill back in the chord change.
That's what I do too, yeah. So like with Beantown Bop, for instance, I wrote I kind of tried to focus on the trumpet part first, and then I went back and did the tenor part, the tenor saxophone part. Even though I was hearing it all at once, that's how I, you know, kind of formulated it. And then I did the you know, the piano and bass and all that stuff afterwards. Sometimes if I just need to hear something played back, just to hear if it like works or not, because I can't read the notes, so you know, sometimes it's good to use the playback in Sibelius. So sometimes what I'll do is maybe I'll take 16 bars and I'll just start from the top down. So I'll just write the trumpet part, the tenor part, and then I'll actually like put notes for the piano so that it will actually play back chords for me. And then I'll do the bass, and I'll actually give it like a bass line.
So you can hear it.
So I can kind of hear it go by, just to make sure that I'm notating stuff correctly.
But then when you go to write it, print it out, you work from a lead sheet. You don't write out the bass part.
Exactly.
And you don't write out the specific voicing.
The only time you would do something like that is if it were, you know, something really specific. But
I understand.
You know, for me being a blind person and not being able to actually read music that well, sometimes it kind of helps me to kind of hone in on what I'm doing to actually kind of, make a ridiculous Sibelius score
So
with
do you
all the parts.
do you play it into the computer Sibelius with a MIDI trumpet?
No, I just use the computer keyboard and type it all out.
Oh, actually, a computer keyboard, not even a keyboard.
Nah. I just, because I already know what notes I'm looking for, so I just note input everything.
Okay.
And then check it out.
And then do you play in the rhythm too, or you notate that?
Yeah, I'll notate the rhythm. Yeah, I'll notate the rhythm.
So you're notating it as opposed to trying to play it in time, which
right. But when I'm working out stuff on my own, like not in front of the computer, I'll just play on my trumpet, and I can kind of hear the chords in my head and all that sort of stuff. So I work out things as they go. So.
Okay, and let me speak with Aaron for 1 second. So Aaron, you wrote the second tune, which was not Beantown Bop, it was, again?
The Poor Man's Doctor.
Poor Man's Doctor, and I'm wondering if there's a story behind that. Did you step on a nail or stub your toe or something?
No, it's kind of dark. I kind of have a dark sense of humor. And I was reading this thing on the internet. It had the creepiest things kids said in a hospital waiting room. And one of them was,
where this is going.
yeah, but one of them was "Death is a poor man's doctor," which was kind of a dark thing to say in the waiting room. So the tune is supposed to sound a little bit macabre and kind of go crazy at the end. The way I kind of imagine, like it's like a person sitting in the waiting room. They hear that and kind of have like a personal crisis, and they get over it at the end.
So that's the name of the song.
Yeah.
How did the writing take place?
Writing the tune was kind of the opposite of what you guys were talking about before with, where I tend to write the chord progressions first, the harmony. I mean, there's really three components to music: harmony, melody, and rhythm. Usually jazz people, when they write out a score for a jazz band, are mostly focused on, for a small group, they're mostly focused on writing the melody and the harmony, and the rhythm is more or less improvised. So I write in a little bit. So I start with the harmony. That tune, I actually wrote it like the harmony 2 years before I wrote the melody.
Wait, you wrote the harmony? How's that? How can you write harmony first?
Well, I play through a chord progression. It kind of is like rolling around for a while. I'll write it down, live with it for a while. I'll modify it a lot, and then I'll fill the melody in over the top. It's kind of the opposite.
Oh, so by harmony you meant the chord progression.
The chord progression.
Okay, so for harmony I'm thinking the counter line.
Oh,
the two-horn line.
yeah, the chord progression.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, and then the melody comes later. I'll write in the rhythm, like any rhythm hits, and the trumpet and the sax part.
And I was remiss though. I should say that this is your second appearance on 502 Sessions, and it's good to have you back again. We jumped right into it like we hadn't stopped off.
Absolutely.
So I apologize for that. Everyone, 502 Sessions, Wayne Pearcy, Aaron Gratzmiller, welcome back.
Yay!
And actually, you did not. So Ben, you have a sixth member today. If we can pan down here, you brought Wendy.
Yep.
So how's Wendy?
Wendy's good.
Wendy a big jazz fan?
Oh, she better be.
Okay.
She doesn't have too much of a choice, I guess.
doesn't mind the loud music or anything like that?
Nope. She, when I went to Seeing Eye to get matched with her, I specifically, mentioned that I needed a dog. That I need dogs that are going to be able to handle loud noises and trumpets blaring in their faces and all that stuff. Wendy is my third guide. The last time I was on here, I don't know if I brought him with me.
No, you did not.
Okay. I had Wyatt, who was a Lab Golden Cross from the Seeing Eye, and my first dog from Seeing Eye was Miller, a big goofy golden retriever.
Well, Wendy's small.
Yeah, she is. Don't let that little size fool you, though. She is strong and fast.
Fast?
Really fast. Aaron can vouch.
So she's not a puppy then? She's full grown?
No,
wow.
She's full grown. Yep, that's
small.
how. She's not getting any bigger.
Oh, well.
Unless she grows outwards, which hopefully
that'll happen.
We're going to try to keep that from happening.
It's tough. It's tough. I have 3 cats, and they're supposed to be self-regulating, but they're all over the place. 6 pounds, 8 pounds.
You gotta exercise. They gotta exercise.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's true. All right, so we have digressed from quite a way. So let's get back at the music, and then we'll speak again. All right. Great. So 502 Sessions. Wayne Pearcy is here with Aaron Gratzmiller and Matt Savage on keyboards, Greg Toro bass, and Fabio Rojas drums, and Wendy keeping track of everybody else. Thank you, gentlemen. 502 Sessions, I'm back with Wayne Pearcy and Aaron Gratzmiller of the Wayne Pearcy, Aaron Gratzmiller Jazz Quintet. All right, so Over the Edge, I've heard that before.
Yep, and that is the title track on our new album that we just recorded a few months ago, and we'll be releasing sometime in the very near future.
Oh, okay. Well, perhaps by the time this show is out, it'll be out.
Hopefully.
So will this actually be a CD, or will it be a digital download?
It'll be both.
Oh, all right.
It will be both. So you'll be able to find it on all the major streaming services, and you'll be able to get it online. So we'll have a very limited number of like hard copy CDs.
Okay.
Kind of made to order, sort of, but most of it'll be online streaming.
Yeah, that's how it all works now, or a lot of it works that way.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So Over the Edge, and the second tune, the ballad, was?
This is a tune I just wrote literally a few days ago. It's called Acceptance.
Okay, and what's the story behind Acceptance?
So, oh man, so my dad passed away from Alzheimer's last year, and it was, a really hard, obviously a really hard struggle for, my entire family, my mom, all of my relatives, myself. It was incredibly hard, being kind of a long distance, supporter, not being, right there, while a lot of it was going on. So this tune isn't really like a, this is kind of a sort of reflection of just sort of everything that happened, but it's also, it's not a direct dedication to him, but it's kind of a dedication to anyone who is struggling, living with dementia, or, struggling, to be a caregiver, or, anyone who has, some sort of, major adversity that they're going through. This tune kind of speaks to that. And it was inspired by the tune Goodbye Pork Pie Hat by Charles
there
Mingus.
We go. Okay, humming the melody. Yeah, that's the one. Okay.
So it was an interesting tune for me. We were talking about composition earlier and kind of how I hear things. This one was not coming to me clearly. And I actually just opened up Sibelius and toyed around with a bunch of different harmonies. I'd had the melody living in my brain for a few months, and I just hadn't ever wrote it down. And Aaron bugged me about a week ago and was like, "Hey man, we need some new tunes, man."
A week ago?
Or something like that, just a gentle nudge, like, "Man, you gotta write more tunes, like all these tunes are mine, you gotta get some more in the book." And so I was like, you're right, I gotta get off my butt and write more. So I pulled out this melody that I'd been kind of living with in my brain, but I kind of wanted to keep this kind of same idea, this same kind of scalular kind of idea, and some of these, kind of bluesy things, going. But I wanted to put interesting harmony underneath it, and I wanted to see what kind of chords I could, put in there. So this tune was not one of those tunes that I just like heard all at once. It was a tune that I kind of had to tinker around with and sort of play with it. So it was kind of an unusual writing process for me, and I think it's a good learning experience, though, that you can't just wait for things to fall out of the sky and hit you in the head. Sometimes you've just gotta like struggle through things and see if you can make something of it. And so I think that was an important composition lesson for me, and
it worked.
Yeah. I really liked how it turned out. I've got to get more comfortable with the changes. But no, it was a good tune, and it is a good tune, and I certainly hope that it can bring some, allow people some chances to reflect on things that are going on that maybe are a little bit of a struggle in their lives, that sort of thing. So.
Okay.
It's fun. It's a good tune.
When you were here last, we spoke briefly about your work at Berklee with
Absolutely.
Are you still at Berklee?
I am.
Okay,
I'm still doing the same thing.
Before you go too far, let's fill people in on what that was. So you started this, correct? And explain it to me again.
Yeah. So basically, when I was a student, I advocated for an accessible program in the school that would allow blind students to be able to get technology support while they were in school. And so I advocated for this for a couple of years, and Berkeley started this special lab for us. It's the Assistive Music Technology Lab, and our course director is Chi Kim, and he teaches the Assistive Music Technology course. And my role in the program is to help students with projects, if they need, help with some, homework assignments for their other classes, or a lot of times I do some, just some mentoring, helping students build their advocacy skills, that sort of thing.
Is the technology dependable? And just when you're saying assistive technology, I'm thinking the frustration I sometimes go through working with technology, and I can imagine if you're dependent on it as a student, and something goes down, that's a big problem, right?
Yeah,
is it very dependable? It's self-working,
for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, computers,
right.
Technology is great except for when it's not.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, I think for the most part, it's it's pretty reliable, and there are more, the hardware is getting better. I mean, the computers are getting faster and more powerful as the years go by, and so I think that that helps.
Are you guys in? I should say, communication with manufacturer and software writers about making things more accessible?
We haven't done as much of that as I think we probably should.
I'm kind of surprised they don't reach out to you and say, how can we make this better?
Yeah. Well, you have to
go ahead.
Manufacturers, we're such a small part of the market that, we're very, very, there's not very many blind people out there in general. I mean, you'll see more people in wheelchairs, or people that may have an invisible disability, or maybe some sort of cognitive impairment, or hearing impairment. You'll see more of those people than you'll see blind people out. And then of course you've got to narrow it down to the number of blind musicians that are out there. And then you narrow it down to even further to the number of blind musicians who actually want to do this for a living. So there you go. You're looking at really, really small numbers. And so the market, the companies in a lot of cases just really aren't aware. And they're not really, they're not really aware of our needs so much. So,
although I would think that the spillover from, if they can develop software that will allow you to write just the voice, I don't know how the technology works, but I would think that anything that they make that works recognition for you would be a great help to the general populace that just wants to get away from inputting with a keyboard or a mouse. Does my question make any sense?
Yeah, well,
but you're saying that spillover is not.
No. And the way we actually do things, we're not actually. The people have kind of a misconception that we're actually, speaking into the computer and it's dictating stuff down. That's not actually what we're doing.
I was thinking more of playing things in. But you said you use the keyboard anyway.
Right.
The computer keyboard.
Right.
So anybody can do that.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
502 Sessions. My guest today has been the Wayne Pearcy Aaron Gratzmiller Jazz Quintet, the PGJQ, with Wayne Pearcy on trumpet, Aaron Gratzmiller on sax, Matt Savage over here on keyboard, Greg Toro on bass, and Fabio Rojas on drums. And Wendy is here as well today. So thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen. It was a great show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for coming back, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
502 Sessions is all about original music. So if you're a musician and you're in a band or a solo act, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm at 502sessions@gmail.com. We do all styles of music. So if you're a country artist or in a jazz quintet or a bluegrass musician or classic rock, don't hesitate to contact me. I check out all links and I respond to all emails, and it's all about original music. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Would you like to play us out?
Sure.
Great. All right. Bye.